The Pliocene epoch began approximately 3.6 million years ago. Significant climate changes occurred during the Pliocene epoch, reshaping environments. These environmental changes during the Pliocene epoch influenced the course of early human evolution. The Pliocene epoch represents a critical period of environmental transformation and evolutionary adaptation. Global temperatures experienced a cooling trend. The reduction in global temperatures led to decreased rainfall in several regions. Africa experienced a notable decrease in rainfall due to the global temperature shift. Cooling temperatures disrupt established weather patterns, affecting precipitation distribution. Decreased rainfall can lead to drought conditions and impact agricultural productivity. Climate simulations model the complex interactions between temperature and precipitation. The transition from dense forests to open savannas in Africa was influenced by diminishing rainfall. Reduced rainfall altered the availability of food resources across the landscape. Changes in rainfall patterns also affected the availability of shelter. The shift from forest to savanna represents a significant ecological transformation. Diminished rainfall created selective pressures favoring savanna-adapted species. The altered landscape impacted biodiversity and ecosystem dynamics. The transition to savanna environments led to a more dispersed distribution of plant resources. Sparser resource distribution increased the difficulty of food procurement for early hominins. Increased foraging distances and reduced food availability presented significant challenges to early hominin survival. Early hominins had to adapt their strategies to cope with the challenges of a sparser environment. The shift to savannas required hominins to cover larger areas to find sufficient food. Food procurement became a more energy-intensive and time-consuming activity. Early hominins increasingly inhabited open terrains, leading to greater exposure. Open environments presented new challenges, including increased predator visibility. Survival in open terrain necessitated the development of new adaptive strategies. Increased exposure in open habitats drove the development of enhanced visual acuity for spotting distant threats. Cooperative hunting became essential for early hominin groups to secure food in open environments. Bipedalism provided hominins with the advantage of seeing over tall grasses. This adaptation allowed for more efficient travel across open landscapes. Bipedalism became an increasingly advantageous adaptation for early hominins. The ability to see further distances aided in predator detection and resource location. Efficient travel across open landscapes supported wider foraging ranges and resource acquisition. Anatomical adaptations in the pelvis and leg bones facilitated bipedal locomotion. Changes in skeletal structure improved endurance for long-distance travel. Bipedalism is supported by specific skeletal adaptations. These skeletal adaptations allowed for efficient, long-distance movement. Environmental changes led hominins to diversify their diets. Grasses and seeds became a more significant part of the hominin diet. Hominins began to incorporate meat into their diets due to environmental pressures. Dietary changes reflect adaptation to new food sources in a changing environment. The inclusion of meat provided new sources of energy and nutrients. Early stone tools allowed hominins to process tougher plant materials. The use of stone tools enabled more effective scavenging of meat. Stone tools provided hominins with a crucial advantage in accessing new food sources. The development of early stone tools marked a significant step in hominin evolution. Early tool use increased hominin adaptability and survival rates. Increased reliance on hunting and gathering likely led to more complex social structures. Cooperative behaviors among hominin groups were essential for successful hunting and gathering. Complex social structures facilitated the division of labor within hominin groups. Hunting and gathering necessitated enhanced communication and coordination among hominins. The development of social structures improved the efficiency of resource acquisition for hominin groups. Environmental challenges may have driven the increase in brain size and cognitive abilities. Enhanced cognitive skills facilitate problem-solving and adaptation to changing environments. Increased brain size correlates with improved capacity for complex problem-solving. Adaptation to novel conditions is supported by enhanced cognitive flexibility. Cognitive development enables organisms to better respond to environmental demands. Hominins expanded their geographic range in response to shifting resource availability. The search for food and suitable habitats drove hominin exploration of new territories. Migration patterns reflect hominin adaptation to diverse ecological niches. Geographic expansion led to increased hominin population and distribution across continents. Environmental pressure pose significant survival challenges. Droughts represent a key environmental pressure impacting resource availability. Increased competition for resources exacerbates survival difficulties. Limited resources lead to increased mortality rates. Adaptation is crucial for overcoming environmental challenges. Survival depends on the ability to secure scarce resources. Adaptive strategies enabled hominins to cope with environmental challenges. Changes in foraging behavior were a key adaptive strategy for hominins. Social organization played a crucial role in hominin adaptation and survival. Tool use provided hominins with a significant advantage in adapting to their environment. Fossil evidence provides insights into the physical adaptations of early hominins. Skeletal remains reveal information about the size, stature, and posture of extinct hominin species. Fossil analysis can uncover details about the diet and lifestyle of early hominins. The study of fossilized bones helps scientists understand the evolutionary relationships between different hominin groups. Fossil evidence contributes to our understanding of the behavioral adaptations of early hominins. Skeletal morphology can indicate adaptations for bipedalism, arboreal locomotion, or a combination of both. Skeletal structures of different hominin species reveal diverse adaptations to changing environments. Skull morphology variations reflect dietary adaptations and brain size evolution across hominin lineages. Limb bone structure indicates changes in locomotion, from arboreal climbing to bipedal walking. Pelvic bone adaptations demonstrate the evolution of upright posture and bipedalism in hominins. Spinal curvature differences reflect the gradual transition to an upright stance and improved balance. Comparative anatomy provides insights into the evolutionary relationships and adaptive strategies of hominin species. Isotope analysis of fossil teeth offers insights into the dietary habits of early hominins. This analysis reveals how early hominins utilized available resources for sustenance. Different isotope ratios in teeth indicate variations in diet composition. Carbon and nitrogen isotopes are key indicators of plant and animal consumption. The analysis helps reconstruct ancient food webs and understand ecological interactions. Archaeological sites provide evidence of early tool use. Early tools represent technological innovations that aided survival. Tool discoveries offer insights into the cognitive and physical capabilities of early humans. The development of tools facilitated hunting, gathering, and shelter construction. Analysis of tool materials and construction techniques reveals information about resource management and technological advancement. Early tool technologies include stone knapping, bone carving, and the use of natural fibers. Paleoclimate records provide insights into the environmental conditions experienced by early hominins. These records help reconstruct past temperature fluctuations, revealing warmer and colder periods. Rainfall patterns are reconstructed from paleoclimate data, showing periods of drought and abundant precipitation. Vegetation patterns are inferred from paleoclimate records, indicating the types of plants that thrived in different eras. Analyzing paleoclimate data provides a comprehensive understanding of past environmental changes. Reconstructed environmental conditions include temperature, rainfall, and vegetation patterns. The evolutionary timeline illustrates the sequence of hominin species. Hominin adaptations are responses to environmental changes over time. Key adaptations include changes in cranial capacity, bipedalism, and tool use. Environmental pressures drive the selection and survival of advantageous traits. Genetic mutations and variations contribute to the diversity within hominin populations. The fossil record provides evidence for the evolutionary relationships between hominin species. The savanna ecosystem supports a diverse range of animal species. Predator-prey relationships are a key dynamic within the savanna ecosystem. Early hominins interacted with both predators and prey in the savanna environment. Animal interactions shaped the evolutionary pressures on early hominins. The savanna ecosystem provided both opportunities and challenges for early hominin survival. Hominins developed vigilance as a primary predator avoidance strategy. Group defense provided enhanced protection against predators. Seeking refuge in trees offered a safe haven from ground-based predators. Rocky outcrops provided natural barriers and vantage points. These strategies increased hominin survival rates in predator-rich environments. Vigilance, group defense, and refuge seeking formed an integrated survival system. Scavenging meat from carcasses was an important protein source for early hominins. Scavenging supplemented the plant-based diet of early hominins. Meat scavenging provided essential nutrients not readily available in plants. Carcasses provided a concentrated source of energy and essential amino acids. Early hominins adapted scavenging behaviors to survive in resource-scarce environments. Protein from scavenged meat supported brain development and physical growth in early hominins. The controlled use of fire provided warmth, protection, and a means of cooking food. Controlled burns offered a source of heat for survival in various climates. Fire provided protection against predators, creating a safer environment. Cooking food with fire improved digestibility and nutritional value. The controlled use of fire represents an early form of technology. Controlled burns allowed for land management and resource optimization. Early hominins constructed simple shelters for protection. Shelters were made from readily available materials like branches and leaves. These structures provided basic protection from the elements. Simple shelters offered a refuge from sun and rain. The shelters were designed for basic survival needs. Early shelters represent a crucial step in hominin adaptation. Social learning is crucial for transmitting knowledge and skills across generations. This transmission of knowledge enhances survival capabilities within a community. Effective social learning ensures the continuity and advancement of cultural practices. Social learning enables adaptation to changing environments and challenges. The process involves observation, imitation, and reinforcement of learned behaviors. Through social learning, accumulated wisdom is preserved and expanded upon. Cultural adaptation is reflected in the development of symbolic behaviors. Early symbolic behavior is evidenced by the creation of art and ornamentation. Art and ornamentation suggest the emergence of complex cognitive abilities. Symbolic behavior indicates a shift towards more sophisticated cultural practices. Cultural adaptation through symbolic expression enhances group cohesion and identity. Genetic diversity within hominin populations provided the raw material for natural selection. Natural selection acted upon this genetic diversity, enabling adaptation to local conditions. Population variation is essential for species to evolve and survive in changing environments. Adaptation to local conditions is driven by the selection of beneficial genetic traits. Gene flow between different hominin groups could introduce new genetic variations. Gene flow may facilitate adaptation across broader geographic areas. Interbreeding among hominin populations led to the exchange of genetic material. The introduction of new genetic variants through gene flow could enhance survival rates. Epigenetic mechanisms enable rapid adaptation to environmental changes by altering gene expression. Early hominins may have utilized epigenetic changes to adapt to new conditions. Environmental factors can trigger epigenetic modifications, leading to altered traits. Gene expression is influenced by epigenetic mechanisms, allowing for phenotypic variation. Epigenetics provides a mechanism for heritable changes without altering the underlying DNA sequence. This adaptive response facilitated survival and evolution in early hominin populations. Developmental plasticity allows organisms to modify physical and behavioral traits in response to environmental cues. Early hominins utilized developmental plasticity to adapt to changing environmental conditions. Phenotypic variation, driven by developmental plasticity, enhances survival and reproductive success in variable environments. Developmental plasticity provides a mechanism for rapid adaptation, complementing genetic evolution. Hominins actively engaged in niche construction, modifying their surrounding environment. This environmental modification altered resource availability for hominin populations. Niche construction created new opportunities for hominin survival and adaptation. Habitat modifications included altering vegetation and creating shelters. These modifications directly impacted the availability of food and water sources. Niche construction represents a key factor in hominin evolutionary success. Co-evolutionary relationships between hominins and other species shaped the savanna ecosystem. Species interactions influenced the adaptive trajectories of hominins. Predator-prey dynamics drove the development of hominin intelligence and tool use. Competition for resources with other species led to dietary adaptations in hominins. Symbiotic relationships with plants and animals provided nutritional and survival advantages. Co-evolutionary pressures shaped the physical and behavioral traits of both hominins and other species. Extinction events caused a turnover of species. Extinction events led to the emergence of new ecological niches. The creation of new ecological niches provided opportunities for hominin diversification. Hominin diversification was facilitated by the environmental changes following extinction events. Adaptive radiation led to the diversification of hominin species. Each hominin species developed unique adaptations to their specific environment. Environmental changes drove the adaptive radiation of hominins. These adaptations allowed different hominin species to exploit different ecological niches. Convergent evolution results in the development of similar traits in unrelated species. This process occurs when different species adapt to similar environmental challenges. Hominin species, facing comparable environmental pressures, developed analogous physical characteristics. These similar traits enhance survival and reproductive success in specific ecological niches. Convergent evolution illustrates how natural selection can independently drive species towards similar solutions. Parallel evolution involves the independent development of similar traits in separate lineages. Similar environmental pressures often drive the evolution of analogous adaptations. Hominin lineages demonstrate parallel evolution through the independent emergence of comparable adaptations. This independent development results in analogous structures, not homologous structures, indicating separate evolutionary paths. Mosaic evolution involves the combination of different traits. This combination allows hominins to adapt to a variety of ecological niches. Unique trait combinations facilitated adaptation to diverse environments. Mosaic evolution is characterized by the asynchronous development of different traits. This evolutionary pattern enabled hominins to exploit various resources. Mosaic evolution allowed for flexible responses to environmental changes. Punctuated equilibrium proposes that evolution occurs in rapid bursts of change. These bursts are often driven by periods of rapid environmental transformation. Punctuated equilibrium contrasts with gradualism, which posits slow, continuous evolutionary change. Fossil records often support punctuated equilibrium, showing species appearing abruptly and remaining relatively unchanged for long periods. Gradualism suggests that evolutionary change happens slowly and steadily. This process occurs over extended periods. Small changes accumulate over time, leading to significant differences. Gradualism contrasts with punctuated equilibrium, where change occurs in rapid bursts. Fossil records provide evidence supporting the gradual accumulation of traits. Natural selection favors individuals with traits that enhance survival. Survival advantages lead to increased reproductive success. Changing environments drive the selection of different traits over time. Differential survival results from the interaction between traits and environment. Traits that enhance reproduction are also favored by natural selection. Genetic drift introduces random variation into populations. This random variation can lead to non-adaptive evolutionary changes. Genetic drift's impact is more pronounced in smaller populations. Founder effect. A small group establishes a new population with limited genetic diversity. Bottleneck effect. A population drastically reduces in size, losing genetic diversity. Genetic drift can lead to the fixation of certain traits, regardless of their adaptive value. Mutation introduces new traits within hominin populations. Novel traits generated by mutation serve as the raw material for natural selection. Natural selection acts upon the variation introduced by mutation, shaping the evolution of species. Mutation is a fundamental mechanism driving evolutionary change. Recombination mixes existing traits into new combinations. This mixing creates novel phenotypes. Novel phenotypes can be favored by natural selection. Recombination increases genetic diversity within a population. The reshuffling of genes during recombination enhances adaptability. Recombination is a key mechanism for evolutionary change. Gene duplication provides a mechanism for generating new genes. Duplicated genes can acquire new functions through mutation and selection. The acquisition of new functions in duplicated genes can lead to evolutionary innovation. Gene duplication events can drive the evolution of complex biological systems. Duplicated genes may retain the original function or develop novel functions. Horizontal gene transfer enables the acquisition of genetic material from other organisms, bypassing traditional inheritance. This process allows hominins to potentially gain beneficial traits from bacteria or viruses. Acquired traits through horizontal gene transfer can enhance survival and adaptation in changing environments. Horizontal gene transfer represents an alternative mechanism for genetic innovation and evolutionary adaptation. Endosymbiosis is a process where one organism lives inside another, benefiting both. This integration played a crucial role in the evolution of eukaryotic cells. Mitochondria and chloroplasts are believed to have originated through endosymbiosis. Endosymbiosis provided the foundation for the development of complex life forms. The host cell benefits from energy production or photosynthesis provided by the endosymbiont. The endosymbiont gains a protected environment and a steady supply of nutrients within the host cell. Cellular adaptations enabled early hominins to survive in challenging environments. These adaptations allowed hominins to cope with heat stress through physiological changes. Cold adaptation involved mechanisms to conserve body heat in early hominins. Hominins adapted to hypoxia through increased red blood cell production. The ability to adapt to environmental stressors was crucial for early hominin survival. Cellular adaptations represent a key factor in the evolutionary success of early hominins. Organismal adaptations, including behavioral changes, allowed early hominins to thrive. Physiological adaptations also contributed to the survival of early hominins. Morphological adaptations, such as changes in body structure, were crucial for hominin success. Environmental changes drove the need for organismal adaptations in early hominins. Behavioral responses represent one type of organismal adaptation. Adaptations enabled early hominins to exploit new resources and ecological niches. Population dynamics, characterized by periods of growth and decline, significantly influenced hominin evolution. Environmental factors were a primary driver of population fluctuations in early hominin groups. Periods of population growth often correlated with increased resource availability and favorable climatic conditions. Population decline was frequently associated with resource scarcity, climate deterioration, and disease outbreaks. These population dynamics shaped the adaptive pressures and evolutionary pathways of hominin species. Community ecology studies the interactions between different species. These interactions significantly impact the dynamics of the savanna ecosystem. Understanding species interactions is crucial for comprehending hominin survival strategies. Predation, competition, and symbiosis are key types of species interactions. The balance of these interactions influences the overall health and stability of the ecosystem. Ecosystem function describes the flow of energy and nutrients. Energy flow through the savanna ecosystem influences hominin resource availability. Ecosystem function is critical for understanding the dynamics of resource distribution. Nutrient cycles are essential for maintaining the health and productivity of the savanna ecosystem. Biogeochemical cycles regulate the cycling of essential nutrients in the savanna ecosystem. Nutrient cycling significantly impacts plant growth within the savanna. Animal productivity in the savanna is directly influenced by nutrient availability. The biogeochemical cycles ensure the continuous recycling of nutrients. These cycles are essential for maintaining the overall health and stability of the savanna. Climate modeling is used to predict future environmental changes. These models help assess the potential impact of environmental changes on human societies. Climate models simulate complex interactions within the Earth's climate system. Future projections from climate models inform policy and adaptation strategies. Climate modeling integrates various data sources to improve prediction accuracy. Conservation biology focuses on preserving biodiversity. A primary goal of conservation biology is to protect endangered species. Protecting endangered species prevents extinction Conservation efforts maintain ecosystem stability. Habitat preservation is crucial for species survival. Conservation biology integrates scientific research and policy implementation. Environmental management focuses on minimizing human impact on natural ecosystems. Sustainable practices aim to balance human needs with environmental preservation. Effective environmental management requires understanding ecological principles and systems. Reducing pollution and waste is a core component of environmental sustainability. Conservation of natural resources ensures long-term environmental health. Environmental management integrates scientific knowledge with policy and regulation. Policies and regulations provide a framework for environmental protection. These guidelines dictate the methods and standards for managing natural resources. Environmental protection policies aim to minimize pollution and conserve biodiversity. Effective resource management ensures the long-term availability of essential resources. Regulations enforce compliance with environmental standards through monitoring and penalties. Policy and regulation are critical for promoting sustainable development and ecological balance. Education initiatives enhance public understanding of environmental challenges. Outreach programs promote responsible environmental behavior within communities. Public awareness campaigns are crucial for addressing environmental issues effectively. Increased public awareness leads to more sustainable practices and environmental protection. Education and outreach are fundamental in fostering a sense of environmental stewardship. Technological innovation is a primary driver in the development of sustainable solutions. Sustainable solutions address environmental challenges through advanced technologies. Innovation fosters sustainable practices across various sectors. Technological advancements enable more efficient resource utilization. Sustainable technologies aim to minimize environmental impact and promote long-term ecological balance. Investment in technological innovation is crucial for achieving global sustainability goals. International cooperation facilitates global agreements designed to tackle transboundary environmental issues. These agreements aim to address environmental problems that extend beyond national borders. Global agreements require coordinated efforts among nations to achieve effective environmental protection. Such cooperation is essential for sustainable solutions to shared environmental challenges. Ethical considerations are fundamental in guiding environmental stewardship. Environmental stewardship involves responsible management and protection of the natural environment. Preservation of natural resources is a key component of ethical environmental practices. Ethical frameworks ensure the long-term health and sustainability of ecosystems. Social justice ensures the fair distribution of environmental advantages among all communities. Environmental equity means that environmental burdens are distributed fairly across all communities. The goal of environmental justice is to prevent any community from bearing a disproportionate share of negative environmental consequences. Achieving environmental equity requires addressing systemic inequalities that lead to uneven distribution of environmental risks. Environmental justice promotes inclusive decision-making processes to ensure all voices are heard in environmental policy. Economic development aims to foster sustainable growth. Sustainable growth balances human needs with environmental protection. Balancing economic progress and ecological preservation ensures long-term prosperity. Sustainable practices minimize resource depletion and pollution. Investment in renewable energy and green technologies drives sustainable economic development. Sustainable development enhances quality of life for current and future generations. Cultural values significantly shape environmental ethics. Environmental ethics are influenced by a society's beliefs and practices. Cultural values impact our relationship with the natural world. Different cultural perspectives lead to diverse approaches in environmental stewardship. Historical perspective offers crucial insights into the lasting impact of human activities on the environment. Examining past events provides valuable lessons for sustainable practices and environmental stewardship. Understanding historical trends enables informed decision-making to mitigate future environmental damage. Long-term consequences of human actions on the environment are revealed through historical analysis. Historical data serves as a foundation for developing effective environmental policies and conservation strategies. Learning from the past helps prevent repeating mistakes and promotes a more sustainable future. Future scenarios explore alternative pathways for human development. These scenarios analyze the potential impact of human development on the environment. Different development choices lead to varied environmental outcomes. Scenario planning helps anticipate and prepare for future challenges. Understanding future scenarios informs decision-making for a sustainable future. Resilience is the capacity of ecosystems to adapt to change. Resilience is the capacity of human societies to adapt to change. Resilience involves the ability to recover from disturbances. Adaptive capacity is a key component of resilience, enabling systems to adjust to new conditions. Resilient systems maintain core function despite external pressure. Vulnerability refers to the degree to which ecosystems and human societies are susceptible to harm. Environmental hazards can significantly impact vulnerable ecosystems. Human societies with limited resources are often more vulnerable to environmental hazards. Vulnerability assessments help identify and mitigate potential risks. Ecosystems with low biodiversity exhibit higher vulnerability to disturbances. Reducing vulnerability requires proactive adaptation and resilience-building strategies. Risk assessment is the process of identifying potential hazards. Risk assessment involves evaluating the likelihood of hazards occurring. Risk assessment includes evaluating the potential consequences of hazards. The goal of risk assessment is to understand and mitigate potential environmental hazards. Effective risk assessment helps organizations proactively manage environmental risks. Hazard identification is a critical component of a comprehensive risk assessment process. Mitigation refers to actions taken to reduce the severity of environmental impacts. Effective mitigation strategies aim to minimize long-term ecological damage. Mitigation efforts can include technological innovations and policy implementations. The goal of mitigation is to lessen the negative consequences of human activities on the environment. Adaptation involves adjusting to environmental changes to minimize negative impacts. The process of adaptation aims to maximize potential benefits in altered environments. Environmental adaptation requires proactive and reactive strategies to address evolving conditions. Effective adaptation strategies reduce vulnerability and enhance resilience to environmental stressors. Adaptation measures can include technological innovations, policy changes, and community-based initiatives. Successful adaptation leads to long-term sustainability and improved ecosystem health. Transformation involves systemic change across social, economic, and environmental domains. These changes are geared towards achieving sustainability across all sectors. Systemic change requires a holistic approach, addressing interconnected issues simultaneously. Sustainable transformation aims to create long-term resilience and well-being for all. Sustainability aims to ensure the long-term well-being of both humans and the environment. Sustainable practices focus on balancing economic, social, and environmental needs for future generations. Environmental stewardship is a key component of sustainability, protecting natural resources and ecosystems. Social equity ensures that all individuals have access to resources and opportunities for a sustainable future. Economic viability supports sustainable development through innovation, efficiency, and responsible resource management. Long-term well-being is achieved through integrated strategies that address interconnected environmental, social, and economic challenges. A holistic approach considers the interconnectedness of social, economic, and environmental systems. Integrated solutions aim to address problems by considering these interconnected systems collectively. This approach leads to more sustainable and effective outcomes by addressing root causes rather than isolated symptoms. Holistic strategies emphasize collaboration and interdisciplinary thinking to develop comprehensive plans. By understanding the relationships between different systems, integrated solutions can create synergistic effects. This method ensures that solutions are not only effective, but also equitable and environmentally sound. A call to action emphasizes the collective responsibility of individuals to address environmental challenges. Communities play a crucial role in promoting sustainable practices and fostering environmental stewardship. Nations must collaborate to implement policies and initiatives that support a sustainable future. Addressing environmental challenges requires a unified effort across all levels of society. Building a sustainable future is a shared goal that necessitates collective action and long-term commitment. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you will be updated for more videos.